Welcome back to Live Zone Sports. We are on your screen and in your ear, and happy that you're here for the latest edition of Dynamics on the Hardwood. I'm Mazzi, and that's Live Zone. What's going on, brother? NBA playoffs. What's up?
We got a lot to talk about. First round of the playoffs in the books. I'm hearing that Mr. Mozzie and Live Zone had some good picks on the first round, so let's get into the second round and let's get talking about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Live Zone himself going six for eight on the
Yep.
picks and getting pretty much every single game the series game total correct. And then Mozzie going 7 out of 8. And also doing the same thing with the games. So we were on point for that week. That round. Another round, though, is coming up. It's not just the first round, like Donovan Mitchell is saying. He didn't come here to win the first round. Saying that, we're going to hop into the Celtics and the Cavs series. Our beloved Celtics took care of Miami Heat in 5 games, just like we thought they would. We thought they'd slip up one game, and rightfully so, they had the 10-point loss. Going up against Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who sneak by the Orlando Magic, who is the one series that Live Zone and Mozzie both thought was going to go the other way in 7, and they thought the Magic were going to have it. Halftime, it was looking pretty good. But by the fourth quarter, Cleveland came back on that home court advantage and made it happen. What are you thinking about this series, Live Zone? You got Tatum and Mitchell going up, and then how does the rest match up? What's going on?
Well, you're going to see a lot of special games here in this series. I really do think you having Donovan Mitchell going up against Jason Tatum, those two guys, they're bucket getters, and there's no comparison there. They're probably the two best bucket getters in their respected position, if not number two for Donovan Mitchell. So it's going to be a great series. I really like this. At the beginning of the year, we were talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, stepping up, and, this is what we're seeing now. We're starting to see Donovan Mitchell take control. I like what we're seeing from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last time the Cleveland went against Boston, it did end up with LeBron James going to the finals. So, hopefully this time around it is different. For me, I have the Boston Celtics winning the series. Like I said, I think it's the Boston Celtics year. If the Boston Celtics don't win, it's a bust of a year for them. But I don't think it's going to be easy. Kristaps Porzingis is out for the whole series, so therefore I do see it going 7 games. But Boston is just too strong, and I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to get it done against Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, great series here, okay? Great series, a sneaky good series. How many games do you think Celtics take it in?
7.
7?
Yep.
Yeah. I think the Celtics take this one for sure, but I'm looking at the matchup as this. I think the Celtics take this in 6 games. Um, Celtics need to make it to the championship, just like you said. It's championship or bust for this team. But looking at the matchup, I think it's clearly the Celtics in this. I think Cleveland can make it interesting, but in this last series against the Magic, Donovan Mitchell was putting the team on his back. I don't think Donovan Mitchell alone can beat this Celtics team. They need Max Strus to show up. Levert has been balling out. He needs to continue to do that. And on top of it, Jared Allen needs to be able to get points and rebounds down low for this team. With Porzingis out, it does leave a challenge of that a little bit, but this team is built around defense as well and should be able to shut that down. Porzingis, I think, might, if it comes down to a pivotal game late in this series, like game 5, 6, he might show up and play in this series. I think he's very questionable for game 1, but I think if it comes down to it and they need him and he's 80%, he's going to come in, and if the season's on the line, he's coming into play, I bet. But yeah, I got Celtics in 6. I think Tatum, Brown, I just need Brown not to turn it over. I need Tatum to just do what he always does. Horford, make those key threes like you do, and Derek White, just keep doing your thing, and I think they're fine no matter what.
And that's the two key names that Boston really needs to lock in on. That's Al Horford. He really needs to stop Jarrett Allen. That's going to be the biggest problem this series is stopping the down low post game of Jarrett Allen. And then after that, it's going to be, I think, Jaylen Brown that shows up this series. I think it's really looking at Jaylen Brown going against Donovan Mitchell as that matchup, and I think they're both going to ball out.
We're going to have to see. I'm excited to see it. We're going to stay in the East. We have the New York Knicks making it to the second round of the NBA playoffs. I think only Knicks fans had this prediction for their season this year, maybe. I personally did not. They're going up against the Indiana Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton. You got Jalen Brunson. Live Zone. What are you thinking about this series?
I mean, this is the clear rivalry that we've been looking for in the Eastern Conference. We are seeing the New York Knicks go against the Indiana Pacers just like the 90s. These were the two teams that I was afraid of for Boston. These are the two teams in my eyes that could stop the Boston Celtics from making it out of the Eastern Conference. And it's coming down to those two teams that are going to go against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. So for me, I really do have the New York Knicks going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I really do. Jalen Brunson is a dog, and you know he's really putting the team on his back right now, but it's working. Now, if the Indiana Pacers do get by in New York, I will not be surprised. Tyrese Halliburton, like I've been saying at the beginning of the year, he is Magic Johnson 2.0. He is the guy that can go out and give you 20 assists a game and have 8 points and have a great game, right? So I'm not mad either way on how this series goes. I just think that either way, Boston is going to have to lock in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's going to be the worst matchup for the Boston Celtics in this whole playoffs. But I will say I have the New York Knicks. I have them going in 6. Jalen Brunson is just him. That's what it comes down to.
It's going to be a fun series. It might be the most fun series of this round. No doubt the rivalry's there, the base is there, the animosity in the air is there. The players are ready to play. Tyrese Halliburton, the modern day Magic Johnson, and Jalen Brunson balling out without Julius Randle, just going at it with Josh Hart. You know, it's a tough call of a series. I do personally think if history is anything that is something to look at or take into consideration in these matchups, give me the Indiana Pacers in 6 games.
I like it. I like it. Now, at the beginning of the season, you didn't see anything in Indiana, so your view on Indiana has changed a little bit. I like that. I like that. Tyrese Halliburton is an amazing talent with the team that he has around him. Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Obi Toppin,
Yep.
Matherin when he comes back. You know, this team is going to be a problem in the Eastern Conference. I do like what you're seeing with Indiana. That's why I'm not mad either way if Indiana beats New York or if New York beats Indiana. But for me, I've been talking about the New York Knicks all season long, just like the Indiana Pacers. And, you know, the thing that I'm looking at, and, you know, here's a little bit of a hot take with Live Zone Sports. The thing that I'm looking at is Jalen Brunson going to be this generation's Dirk, or is he going to fall to the cane of Jason Tatum, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Is he going to prevail, and is he going to bring his team to the NBA Finals, or is he going to lose out in the second round or the Eastern Conference Finals? So that's the reason why I'm picking New York.
So I respect it fully, and why I'm going Indiana. End of the day is mostly everybody who's leading teams right now is under 30. It's the age of the young. people. Indiana is inexperienced in this position. Obviously, they were in it in the play-in tournament against LeBron James, so they maybe got a taste of it. I don't know how that feels being one of the first years of it. So I don't know the energy of that. I don't know if it compares to the second round of the playoffs or not. Um, but if Indiana can stay focused, there's going to be so many emotions going on and not take themselves out of the basketball and into the emotions. If they get caught up in the emotions with the Knicks and the flair and having and tough fouls and whatnot, the Knicks are going to win this series because they've been here and they've done that before. Okay, so this team specifically. But if Indiana can keep their composure, play basketball, and focus on that, I think they beat the Knicks no problem, and they meet up with the Celtics, and I'm very worried about that series.
Very worried.
Very worried. Very worried. So we got a whole other conference though to talk about. We got the Western side, Minnesota and the Denver Nuggets. They've already played one game. Okay, we know the outcome of that one. And dropping 43 on your head, looking like the modern day Michael Jordan. The kid is my favorite player in the NBA now. I love the dude. I love his energy. He's 22, bro. He's 22. So can't can't even he's just out there having fun while killing people, to put it like he puts it. He's just out here to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay? It's crazy. Minnesota, Denver, you do have Jokic on the other side. I believe Jamal Murray is injured though in this series. A little bit with the calf injury, I believe. Something to look out for. I think he's still gonna play game 2.
Yep.
Yeah,
If not game 2, it will be game 3. He will be there.
game 3. So something to look out for. Again, you got to give the Denver Nuggets their respect where respect is due. It's the defending champs. Okay, I think Ant's just on a freaking mission right now, man. What are you thinking, Live Zone, in this series? You got Denver and Minnesota. Let me know.
Well, I'm gonna say it here first. We love hot takes with Live Zone, so I'm gonna give you another one. Whoever wins this series is going to the NBA Finals. I really do believe that. Both the Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves have to be looked at. Both have been putting up the numbers, been putting up the wins all season long. There's no surprise that these two were matched up against each other. But for me, I'm going with the Minnesota Timberwolves. It is time for Anthony Edwards to show why he is Michael Jordan 3.0. And that's what it comes down to. He's been held down, held out for years now because Minnesota has not been putting a team around him, and when they did put a team around him, they got injured and everything like that. Now it's prime time. Now it's Anthony Edwards' time. I'm going with Anthony Edwards, no holding back. I do think this will go 6 games. I just don't think that with Jamal Murray being out for a few games, if he is out for a few games, he might try to play through it. I just don't see them doing anything without him. So for me, I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I agree with your pick completely. I got Minnesota in 6 games as well. I think Anthony Edwards, again, on a mission. I don't think the Denver Nuggets are going to get it done against them. I do agree with your statement of whoever wins this makes it to the championship and potentially even wins it. Like truthfully, because if the Celtics make it there, it's still not a guarantee. I think these teams match up very well against the Boston Celtics too. But that's in the future. Looking at this, it's up to Ant. If he shows up like Michael Jordan, he's got it. In 6 games, no problem. It's not going to a 7. If it goes 7, I think Denver takes it. If it goes 6, I think Minnesota has it, no matter what. So Ant just keep showing up. Everybody else just play their part. Rudy Gobert down low, defensive player of the year probably for a 4th time in a row, 3rd or 4th time. I mean, you got Cat. He can drop 40 if he wanted to, really, on a night. He's not really, that's not his role, but if it's if it's his night to shoot, he can knock it down too. I mean, they're dangerous from everywhere. They're big. They got size, athleticism. It's a tough matchup for Denver. Minnesota up 1-0 already. I think that continues. I wouldn't be surprised if they even took it in 5, but I'm gonna take Minnesota in 6 games over the Denver Nuggets. We have one more matchup. It's the Dallas Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against one another. This OKC team, I know I keep talking about them, saying they're lit. I don't know. I don't know in this series. It's a toss up. Live Zone. What are you looking at in this series and who you got?
I'm looking straight at Luca. It really all depends on what Luca brings to the table. If Luca goes and he brings, 30 points a game, 40 points a game, like he's been doing all season long, it's going to be the Mavericks. It just is. Having Kyrie Irving right next to him, I mean, it doesn't even matter if there's a big man or no big man there. It could be 2-on-5. I'm still taking Luca and Kyrie, right? So for that reason, I love Shai. I love Shea. I love Shea Gilgeous. That dude is a monster. So it really just depends on who brings it here. I really do think that, the OKC Thunder are too inexperienced for it right now. Luka's been here, he's lost here, so he knows what he needs to do to get past this point. I got to take the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to take them in 7.
Respect. So, if you've been following us through the regular season, these were my 2 sleeper teams at the All-Star break. I said, watch out for these 2 teams, the Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder. And now here we are, second round, and they're going up against one another. I didn't think it would be this quick. I thought they'd be in the Western Conference Finals against each other personally. But it's a hell of a matchup, and I think it's exactly what you're saying. If Shea is dropping 35 and Luka's dropping 35, it's probably gonna go to Dallas because Kyrie is gonna drop probably about 30 as well. And then you have their role players and whatnot. And OKC not being experienced again, like you said, is a huge factor in that. I really think there's more pressure on Luka to get this done too, because if he goes out second round, next season, I don't think it's look at Luka. I think it's but is he gonna get it? It's look at Luka, but is he gonna get it done when it comes time? So, and then they're gonna start pointing at Kyrie. I think Dallas has so much more to lose in this series. They're coming ready. I think OKC is playing free and loose ball like they've never been here before, which is why they're dangerous as well. I see this series going 7 games as well, and I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks to beat the OKC Thunders and move on to the Western Conference Finals.
Now, one thing I do want to say that either way, at the end of the day, there's no Steph Curry. There is no Kevin Durant. There is no LeBron James. And there is no Giannis. So for me, we are heading into the new generation of who is the king of the NBA. And it's going to show real quick whether it's Anthony Edwards, whether it's Jokic, whether it's Luka, whether it's Shea, whether it's Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Halliburton, and Jalen Brunson. It's going to show who your big guys are in the league right now. Because even LeBron, when asked about if he's going to be an LA Laker, he said that he's not going to answer that. And there's a reason for that. It might be time that, we're circling into a new generation. I want to know, who are your 4 players that you're looking at, like we look at LeBron, Curry, Giannis, and KD?
Yeah, so without question, I'm putting Anthony Edwards on this list. The potential and the age of him and his just full package of assets on the basketball court is unreal. So even if he can't get it done with Minnesota, the experience this young doing this, he can go on a run in 3-4 years and end up on a different super team or different matchup, and he's going to be balling out the same way. I'm going to put Luka on this list merely for the way he plays a different game of basketball when everybody else is playing their game of basketball. Everybody else is running full speed, hitting lines, turning quick, setting picks. Luka looks like he's just like gliding down a ski slope. He's just like do 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 do. Well, everything else is zooming past him. He's listening to his music. The lady that with the bear chasing her down the mountain, and she's like jamming out the Rihanna. It's just like whoop. So, and Luca, those are my two out of the Western Conference. If I'm looking at the Eastern Conference, I am going to go with, I think, Tyrese Halliburton. And the reason why is because I think a distributor in this league to shooters is way more likely to end up winning more championships than the rest of people rather than a straight shooter who makes his bread and butter off making or missing shots. Uh, so that's why I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to get some rings in this league. I don't know necessarily if it'll be with Indiana, but again, he is young with full potential. And then the final one I have is it's make or break this year for him to stay on this list, but it's Jason Tatum. If he gets a championship this year, he stays good in my books and on that level. If he does not come through and get that championship this year, I believe all the runs are great, but I mean, when you have no hardware after 4 runs that should have been at least one chip already, it's tough to swallow. And if you do it for a fourth time or a fifth time, however you consider when their official run started, if you're 0 for 4, 0 for 5, it'll be 0 for 2 or 3 in NBA Finals. Like it's just not a good look.
Yeah, I agree 110% with your list. New era, new players. We got a lot of exciting stuff here on this year's NBA playoffs. So I hope you're having fun the same way that we
Quick
are.
thing. Quick thing. Sleeper. Saw this online the other day. Got really excited. 1 a.m. So we a little sleepy. Okay? LeBron James to the Golden State Warriors for Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. And they draft Bronny.
Another thing that I'm looking at for another sleeper is Klay Thompson moving on to the Orlando Magic. So there's a lot of interest there. So keep up with it. We'll be posting on Twitter about it, or
Yep.
what we now call X. Don't you worry. And then we'll go from there.
Hey, always a pleasure to be here with you. That's Dynamics on the Hardwood. It's Mazzi and Live Zone. Thanks for staying tuned. We hope you have fun. Like, subscribe, share. We're everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Insta, we got the website going live here soon with everything, and then it'll be all in one place for everybody to get it. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please help us get there, and we appreciate you. Stay tuned.